If you've been struggling with some back pain, maybe even some sciatica pain, there's gonna be 5 exercises and stretches that you can utilize that will hopefully give you a little bit of relief, as they have for myself. All right, let's get started. We're gonna be using a mat here. First couple are gonna be relatively simple. It is gonna be some minimal movement with the pelvis and the torso, but it's gonna hopefully open up and improve range of motion for yourself. First leg, your left leg is gonna be up in this 90-degree angle, also a 90-degree angle with the back leg. I prefer to put my hands on my hips. It allows me to be a little more aware of my pelvis. So this is our starting position. From here, we wanna think of tucking our pelvis under as if it was a water bucket and we wanted to dump it backwards. We're gonna tuck the pelvis under, and then we're going to tilt the pelvis forward. So again, like I said, it's small range of motion here, but you're gonna perform 10 to 15 repetitions. If you're really tight and you feel like you struggle with this, start with 10. If you feel more comfortable, you're gonna perform 15 reps. So again, I'm using kind of my fingers to guide without my hands, so you guys can see I'm in an extended position, then I'm in that flex position, tucking under. You will and you may feel a stretch here in the front hip flexor and quad, but we wanna keep our torso kind of forward, or our hips forward, excuse me, and we're just extending and then tucking or flexing. So we're trying to improve some range of motion in the small positions of our lower back here. Again, 10 to 15 reps on this one leg. Then from there, we're gonna twist, rotate, we're gonna push that knee forward so it's tracking over the front leg. I'm gonna get a little bit of rotation, so I'm kind of leaning open or opening up my torso, and then I'll come back to starting position. Again, 10 to 15 reps here. 10 if you're new and you're just starting out, 15 if you're a little more experienced. Then we'll switch, same thing, opposite sides. I'm just gonna show you guys this side. So again, you want to tuck and extend. I personally like to start with the tuck. It allows me to feel that stretch in the front of the hip, and then from there I'll extend 10 to 15 repetitions. Then from there, we're gonna come to a side dragon position. So this is gonna be more of like an active stretch. There'll be 2 ways to perform this depending on how you feel comfortable. This back leg's kind of at a 45, it's my kickstand, and then my opposite leg about a 90-degree angle. Knee is going to be, or foot is gonna be in line with my knee joint. Then from here, I'm going to lean into the side dragon. If holding this position is difficult for you, you feel you can't stay here for 30 seconds, then you're gonna perform 10 repetitions of leaning into that side dragon and coming back to the starting position here. So it'll look like this. I'll lean in, I'll use my forearm, wrist to kind of keep my knee in line with my foot here versus letting it collapse forward or go out. So I'm constantly leaning in and then coming back out. So this is gonna open up the inner thighs. You'll also feel a stretch on this opposite leg as well. If you're just gonna stay here for 30 seconds, you'll feel the stretch here. If this is really tight and really hard to do, perform the 10 repetitions. Then we'll switch, exact same thing on the opposite side. So when I do this, I will do some of my external shoulder rotation exercises. Then I'll do my 10 reps with my kettlebell. I'll either place it here, or if you want a little extra, you can grab a small kettlebell or dumbbell and come to this front position. But this is gonna help open up that hips, and as well as the adductors, your inner thighs here. So 10 reps here, or you can hold for the 20 seconds. This is a great stretch. If you want to do both, by all means, go for it. This is going to help you really sink into it. Just make sure that your knee doesn't collapse really far in. You're working to kind of open up the hip joint as well in that position. So again, this is the third stretch or exercise that you'll be doing in this position. So again, remember, really reach out and then come back in. This next one is going to be more of a stretch. Again, I'll give you guys 2 variations depending on how tight you are. It's gonna be a lizard stretch, so that means I'm just gonna create a 90-degree angle of the front leg. My back leg is as elongated behind me as I can. So I can adjust my foot position. If I wanna have my ankle slightly in front of my knee, you can do that as well. One option is to stay here in the palms. If you feel like this is too much, you can place your hands here on top of your thigh. Other option is to walk those arms forward, or if you want, you can even come down to your forearms. If you are really tight in your back and hip, it might be hard to get down here. But again, 30 seconds here in this position, wherever you feel like you can stay here. This is gonna help open up the front. If your back is really tight, you wanna kind of release that front side of the body. If you sit a lot, if you drive a lot, this will definitely feel good. So again, 30 seconds there, then we'll switch. I'm just switching directions so you guys can see. Again, same thing. You'll notice that my right side is significantly tighter than my left. So when I get down here on the ground, I can get to the floor, my palms, hands even forward, but coming down to the forearms is a lot harder on my right side just because my right hip and glute are a lot tighter, and that's the side I'm dealing with the sciatic pain. So again, get down as far as I can here, holding in 30 seconds. So that's the 4th exercise. This is more of an isometric, or more of a stretch more so than exercise, but believe me, it is really good to incorporate. Like I said, if you can't go down all the way to the floor, you can always modify up here. If you don't have anything, if you're at a house, or if you have a chair, you can always use a couch or chair as leverage to allow yourself to sit up. There's a great exercise that I highly recommend incorporating. It will help you feel a little bit better. All right, this last one, there's kind of a two-part series. It's gonna be the same exact exercise, but we're gonna be doing it two different ways. Again, this has helped me immensely. I can't attest to like the amount of exercises I have been doing. It's taking me about an hour and a half every day to do these, but I'm doing everything all at once. These are just snippets. This will probably take you maybe like 5 to 10 minutes at the absolute most, depending on how many rounds you do. All right, so the first exercise, or the last exercise, excuse me, is gonna be in this tabletop position, similar to the other ones, but we're in this tabletop position. It's similar to a cat-cow, but we're gonna keep our entire upper body static. We're focusing on just your lower back, tuck the pelvis, as much as you can, then you're gonna extend, drop the pelvis. So it's like a mini version of the cat-cow. We're focusing on just the lower back. So this is gonna help you reintroduce movement into that spine. If you sit a lot, drive a lot, like I said, if you haven't done a lot of stretching, this is a great exercise. You really wanna extend that pelvis so you're pushing the base of your spine up, or pelvis out, and you're trying to create this little small curvature in that lower back, and then I'm rounding. So nice and easy, just focusing on the lower range of motion. A little range of motion, excuse me, for that back. 10 reps there. Then you're gonna flip over. Like I said, same exercise, just different position. And then we're going to, same thing, extend so I can slide my arm through, and then we're going to tuck. Now you may find that this exercise may be more comfortable here than the tabletop position, or vice versa. I'm gonna give you guys one extra, like an extra version of this that might be easier for some, it might be harder for some, but same thing here, 10 repetitions. I like to have my hands on my hip bones. So hip bones are in front and my thumb is on the back, and I'm guiding the hips forward and then guiding back. I don't have to use my hands, but it really helps kind of accentuate, like, all right, I wanna make sure that I'm getting as much range of motion as possible. 10 reps here. So those are the 5 exercises you incorporate. I'm just gonna show you guys that extra credit one. Same thing, we're just gonna come kind of this bent over position, like maybe you're tired, you're resting your hands on the base of your thighs, top of your knees, feet are about hip width distance apart. I'm going to, same thing, extend my pelvis, like kind of push my pelvis out, and then I'm going to tuck this position. Now, this might be very difficult and may not feel comfortable. You may not even do this because it's too much for you. This position for me is one of the exercises that I feel the most in terms of the small range of motion. So doing the tabletop, doing the floor is fine. When I do this, I get a little more pinchy on my right side, but again, I'm just communicating what I'm feeling, so hopefully you understand that these exercises are designed to help you, but you wanna make sure you're not going and pushing through the pain. Go to maybe where you start to feel that pinching or pain. Again, 10 repetitions here, nice and easy. And typically I'll do 2 rounds of all of these exercises. So if you're new, start with maybe just 1 round with the 10 reps. If you feel more comfortable or you feel pretty good with these, do the 2 rounds, and you can do the 15 reps of the pelvis tucked and that kind of like side little rotation exercise. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. If you want to support different ways to do that, you can subscribe here, you can share the video, you can check out the links below to support. It really helps me, and hopefully I'll be able to reach more people to be able to help them through their pain. Sciatica is no joke. This is probably one of the worst pains and worst issues I've had to deal with. I do not wish it upon anyone. So if this is helpful for you, please share with others. Hopefully some of these exercises will be beneficial. You can check out my previous 2 videos. I also include some other exercises in there that will help the back as well as the pelvis and as well as the core. Thank you guys for tuning in.